Jeremiah 29:11. And it reads, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, the plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." May the Lord add a blessing to the hearing and doing of His word.
The only thing that's more important than anything in your life and towards God is your availability to work for God. We can do the talk, we can talk the talk, we can walk the walk, but when we are placed against the fire, we must be available to work for God. Amen? Amen. So for 2019, I want y'all to dig deep. I don't want you to be ashamed of yourselves and who you are, because God bless you on your availability. God will bless you on who you are and who you belong to. We know that we are children of God and that 2019 is going to be great. Change is coming. No matter how much we try to hide it, no matter how much we put makeup on the situations or put makeup on our face to change our age or whatever we do to work out, change is always happening to man. Our change can change and affect our families. Our change can change and affect our communities. But there seems to always be a guarantee in life that change will happen. Change is something we tend to fear because we become anxious about the situations that change around us, and we feel as though we're not in control of our lives. The good news is that God has a plan for your life, for your future, to instill hope and to prosper you. We must trust in God and allow change to happen and allow change to grow us so we may become more like Jesus Christ. And how we respond and act to things in different situations, things that are promised to us, that all things will work together for good for those who love Him and keep His commandments. Amen. In Deuteronomy chapter 31 verse 6 it says, "Be strong and courageous, and do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." No matter what hater or enemy try to come and discourage you, the Bible warns you to not be afraid or terrified because of the discouragement of that individual or that group of individuals. The Lord will be with you through all of your struggles. He will be with you through all of your fears, so that you will not have to worry. God is with you through all your doubts that the enemy try to place upon you. And the Bible says that He will never leave you nor forsake you, for He will be with you during the worst times and also the best times of your life. But we must know that change is coming. Just in the Bible verse that we just read for the scripture, it says, Jeremiah 29:11, it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and hope." So, in order to change in 2019, one, we must be available. Availability is very huge in 2019 for us on our Christian walk. Second, we're going to talk about is changing our attitude. And we're going to stick here for a little bit. Changing our attitude. So most Christians that we meet, we're good at masking a lot of things. We're good at hiding a lot of things. We're good at being the great wife in front of the public. We're good at being great husbands in front of public. But when we go home, but behind closed doors, things change a little bit. For that monster will arise and that stress will arise. And not because we are just bad people as Christians, but because the pressures of the world, they begin to close in on you once you close the door in your confined place or your residence. Pressure of different spirits that you've encountered throughout your day will become a part of you, and it will come out of you. Because when you relax at home, in the comfort of your home, that's when the enemy tries to attack you more than anything has ever been attacked in your life. One is when you become relaxed. And we are relaxed at home. And this is where issues and where all the problems tend to stem when you're at home. Now, some people may have problems of anxiousness because we're so anxious to have success. We're so anxious to pay bills. We're so anxious to make ends meet on several things. And with all this anxiousness, we're always trying to please somebody else in our life.
in order to get affirmation for who we are. But God is not a God that says that we need any eligibility. We don't need to be credentialed by anyone in our life to say that who we are is who we are. We know that we are children of God, and we are, by us being His children, that we are more than conquerors. So when we're at home and anxiousness try to come upon us, and then you have people of discouragement that are around you. So when you change your attitude, there are several things that you have to change. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, it says, above all else, guard your heart, for anything you do flows from it. So it says, guard your heart. In Proverbs 4 and 23 in the King James, it's a different from the New International. It says, keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Look at your neighbor and say, the real you will come out. Look at your neighbor and say, the real you will come out. So, number one, in order to change our attitude, first of all, we must change the way we think. And how do we change the way that we think?
The Bible said, protect your heart. It said, guard your heart, for everything you know flows from it. Just because you hear it and it goes through your ears doesn't mean that it should invade your insides and invade your heart. So changing the way you think means everything. It's hard, but it fixes the problem that you or someone else has instilled in your life over the years of your existence. Number two, you must change yourself. Admitting your faults, especially your attitude problem. You have to be realistic with yourself, and this allows you to stay in your own lane. And second, it allows you room to exercise your faith. Man, it's a big thing. We have to change our attitude. Because if you change your attitude, everything changes about you. You have to change the way you live. You have to change the way you go out, and people, when they approach you, you have to change your response. But in order to change all of this, you must change what goes on in your heart and how you think and in your mind. And then you have to be able to hold your tongue. Yes, we have to be able to hold our tongue as Christians. We can think about it, but we can't let it invade us, and we can't make it toxic in our body. And number three, we must change our environment. Other people want you to be unsuccessful and have misery in your lives. If they are negative, your environment, you will eventually become negative because it's contagious. Change your settings, friends, where you hang out can sometimes change everything about you. If you hang around successful people, you will have a mind to be successful. If you hang around people who are always hustling, you will have a mind to always be hustling.
So, this thing about changing, it starts with us. It starts with our minds. It starts with our hearts. It starts with our family. Because if you don't change your attitude, you begin to make people around you be how you are. If you're always negative, your children will become negative. If you're always not giving great compliments, your children will not give great compliments. Everything that you see existing in your life begin with a thought. Either you thought it or someone else did. The sad part is too many of us are allowing others to shape our way of thinking and sets the barometer of our attitude. And what we think about us, the opinion of others, is how we really are shaped. We're always trying to conform and fit into something as a society and as people. We're always trying to be not us, but like someone else. God said that He has, Jeremiah 29, it says, I know plans that I have for you. 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 Not how others shape you, not for anybody else, but God has an individual plan
individual relationship, a one-on-one relationship. That's what this verse 29:11 is reading. He has a one-on-one relationship. He has a one-on-one thought. He has a one-on-one hope. He has a one-on-one purpose with you. And he has plans for you. And it also goes, it says plans for your future, plans for your destiny, plans for your purpose, not no one else's plans. God said that he has his plan for you. So we can't let people from our surroundings that just come in and try to change our mind on things, change our way of thinking. God says that he has plans for you. But when you change, it becomes uncomfortable. So this year in 2019, we want to be a little bit uncomfortable. And when you're uncomfortable, it brings something out of you that you've never had in your life before. It brings out a grind that you've never had before. It brings out your awareness that you've never encountered before in your life. When you're uncomfortable, things get a little tense around you. When you're uncomfortable, your eyes begin to widen and you begin to just pay attention to your surroundings. Because when you're uncomfortable, change will happen. And an adjustment will happen in your life. No matter what. You have 4 seasons in the year. Change will happen. Things die, things grow. You have increase and you have decrease. Because change will always happen. So, if I find something positive in anything that I do, my perception is positive. So being a winner and not being a loser is what we're trying to accomplish. But even in our losses, we have to focus on the positive. Don't let the enemy tell you, even during when you're winning, something negative about you. It's called a hater. And our biggest problem in our life is battling ourselves. Not what somebody else tells us, is ourself. So you have to trust and believe the plan that God has for you, because God said he will never leave you, he will never forsake you, he will always be by your side. Philippians 4:6-7, it said, don't be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Jesus Christ. So you have all these verses that are encouraging you during your change and encouraging you during your wins. And they're all through the Bible. I can go on and on about encouragement. In Ezekiel 36:26, I will give you a new heart, and I will give you a new spirit within you, and I will take the heart of the stone out of your flesh and give you the heart of flesh. Inward change will lead to an effective outward change. So the way you think will change everything about you and your family and your environment. Amen? Doors to the church is open. If you're feeling that you want to be a part of Destiny for 2019, won't you come? If you want prayer in your life, won't you come? If you're having a bit of an issue that you can't deal with, won't you come to the altar and lay your problems on the altar and give it over to God? But God has plans for you. You think your plans that you had for 2019 were great. Put your plans in God's hand and watch where your plans go. You will have a supernatural finish. Won't you come? Give it all to God. Give it all to God.